situation isn't what we want. Results aren't good. You have to face it up, and you have to, ensure that we're stronger next week. It's just simple as that. You understand the climate, you understand the expectation, you understand the environment. It's pretty normal, I think, to feel that way.
Tim, with Graham Potter at West Ham, does it feel like a matter of time until there's a change?
Yeah, with the noise. I'm not saying that there should be a change. I'm saying that, the noise, too much noise coming out of there, and it's almost inevitable. And Graham's no fool. He's been in the game a long time. He knows if you don't win football matches, there's a good chance your phone will ring and it won't be good news on the other end. And it's getting that way. They play Everton next. David Moyes' Everton. That new stadium. They started very well, albeit they've lost in the derby at the weekend. And then they play Arsenal.
Both away.
Just need to find a result, and where's it going to come? For sure, if they lose their next two games, then there will be a change in the dugout there.
So what? Nuno Espirito Santo is in line to take over.
Yeah.
Away at Everton, away at Arsenal is on paper very, very difficult. Then there's the international break, and after that it's Brentford at home and Leeds away.
Yeah.
Will Nuno be thinking, wonder if I'll just take over in the international break?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He risks Potter winning both games and then he doesn't get the job, though.
I'm not sure you can be saying that to Karen Brady and Mr. Sullivan. Can I just drag it out and send it to the lawyers until after these next two games they look a bit tough? I think you have to just take the job. I mean, if Nuno gets this job, this football club is a top football club, well-supported football club as well. The fans are the best thing about the club, in my eyes. I just feel like, why is Nuno going to do any better than Graham Potter? I mean, I look at their group of players and I feel like they've been let down. I'm not saying that Graham's getting the best out of the group at the moment, but certainly on paper, when you look at them, I'm not thinking they're a top half side. I'm thinking that their recruitment has been bang average, and they're not great. So where are they? Where do they expect him to be? Obviously, the fans want them to be in the higher realms of the Premier League, pushing towards that Europa spot. But is it realistic with this group of players? I think it's not. Looking at other squads in and around, I think there's a lot better squads, deeper in quality than West Ham at the moment. So, yeah, I can understand why Nuno's in the frame. He's available. He knows the Premier League. He's managed teams at the bottom of the league with respect. Wolves, he's done a fantastic job there. Even in Nottingham Forest, when he took over there, I mean, he's built them into a wonderful ended position last season, loses his job, so automatically you think he's going to be the choice. But I'm not sure he's got a group of players there to do any better than what Graham Potter's doing.
Well, let's get the thoughts of another representative of Fanalysis now. And out where passionate fans share their opinions, we speak live to West Ham fan Gary Killington. Hello again, Gary. I know we've had you on before. For you, is it a case of it's time to make the change now?
Well, I think definitely. Graham Potter, I do feel sorry for him. There are mitigating circumstances because he hasn't been backed properly by the owner. But he's got a set of players now. It's an incomplete set of players, probably just about a first 11, including two very injury-prone strikers, one of whom's been injured already in Fulkrug. We've brought some players in, including a central defensive midfielder in Magassa, to bring strength, athleticism and legs into the midfield, and yet Potter is not helping himself by persisting with the same old players. For instance, James Ward-Prowse. Nothing against Ward-Prowse, does a good job, does what he can do, but that's not what we really necessarily need.
It sounds like you're not putting all the blame on the manager's door, so where else does the blame go?
Well, it goes squarely on the door of David Sullivan, who's appointed himself, he's a chairman, right? He's appointed himself director of football this year. He cannot keep his hands out of the transfer market. Other clubs get business done quickly. Even when we get a deal done, it takes 4 to 6 weeks. He signs freebies on loans. We've got 3 players, and again, nothing against the players. We've got 3 players who've been brought in from relegated clubs in recent years. Now, there's a certain mindset that's been introduced into the squad, I think, when we go behind, and that's obvious on the pitch. Sullivan is also, he's keen on a freebie. He's keen on an old player. We brought Callum Wilson in. We needed a striker, a young mobile striker to be, another option with Fulkrug. We brought in Callum Wilson. That says it all, really.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the older players, the experienced players, but you have to have a blend. You have to have some legs. You have to have some youth in there. And I've said to one of the fans before from West Ham, where's your academy players now? Where are they? Why are all the positions for them academy boys being blocked up by bang average signings, and you're spending 20, 30, 40 million pounds on these players who couldn't even probably lace the boots of your academy kids, and they certainly wouldn't care as much, that's for sure.
It's criminal, and this is another place where I hold Potter responsible, because he came in saying all the right things. We had an academy that won the FA Cup, beat Arsenal a couple of years ago. One of the Arsenal players that was in that losing final, they're actually playing. They've had England caps already.
Lewis
That's
Skelly,
how quickly the likes of Arsenal progress them, right? We've got some real stars in our academy at the moment, but if you don't use them, you're going to lose them. And so we've got Preston Fearon, who's absolutely tearing it up.
Yeah.
Came a similar route as Declan Rice. We picked him up when he got booted out of Chelsea. He's absolutely tearing it up in the under-23s at the moment. What's he doing in the under-23s? Freddie Potts, Steve Potts' son, our former captain, he was tearing it up no matter where he went in the Championship. Now, Freddie Potts has never been given a chance to play in a midfield that's been mobile, and now we've got the players to do it.
Yeah.
There is a chance, he could try something else, but he doesn't. He defaults. Against Spurs, it was the double pivot of Souček and Ward-Prowse again. Magassa on the bench. This weekend, it was Ward-Prowse, Magassa on the bench, who looks completely demoralised, by the way, on the touchline.
There's a message on the bottom of the screen there from a fan called Nathan. Says Potter being sacked is inevitable. He says Dyche in. Now we understand it. Espirito Santo is set to do it, but I mean, what do you think of that? First of all, what kind of manager to be in? I'm just looking at the odds here on my screen. Espirito Santo is the favourite. Then there's Bilic, O'Neill, as in Gary O'Neill, Sean Dyche, Michael Carrick, Scott Parker, and then Liam Rossini. Do any of those names stand out to you, or is Nuno the one you want?
Well, you can rule a few of them out because they're in work. We only ever go for the unemployed managers, the ones that have not got a job. That has been the way since day dot, since Sullivan took over. He is favouring Nuno, obviously. He's done this time and time again. When a manager's in role, like Potter, he will openly go and interview someone else. Right? He's done it to literally every manager, which in itself is a little bit unfair and puts pressure on, and it makes the players lose interest as well, because they say it's inevitable that the manager's off soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, who would I prefer? I don't know. It's a bit of a dodgy list to choose from. Nuno will be all right, I guess, but he's not going to set the world alight, and he's a bit of a one-trick pony. And we don't have, as Tim said earlier, I don't think we've got the squad to bring out what Nuno wants to deliver. So he might keep us up, but that'll be about the extent of it.
Well, forget my list then. I mean, who do you actually want then? Forget that list, because that list was just from the bookies, by the way.
Who I want and who's possible. I mean, look, I would be adventurous personally. I'd go someone like Craig Bellamy, who I really like. He's a young, bright manager who we know is a bit of a, he doesn't hold back, Craig Bellamy. There's loads of other options like that as well. It's not just him, but somebody out of left field, somebody who's in work and doing a good job, somebody who's got fire in their belly, and he's really excited about the West Ham job, to come in, really want to be here, and I don't get that from Potter, and I don't get it from Nuno.
It seems like a theme when you're saying there, Dave, about who you want. I think playing there, certainly at Upton Park, this new stadium, knowing what the fans want there at West Ham, you want a personality, you want someone you can relate to, someone who you feel like will talk. If you're losing at half-time, we'll get in their dressing room and talk to them players just like you guys would. Someone like De Zerbi, for me, would have been a perfect fit.
Oh, God, yeah. And if you give me a choice, Areola, but I don't have that choice, and there's no way that Sullivan would pay the money to get him out, and doubt he'd want to come either, because he's walking into a viper's nest. He's got to work for those two. And again, we've been protesting in the last few days against the ownership, because they've done this for 15 years. Before they joined, up to 2010, we had 11 managers in a 110-year history. This will probably be the 9th in 15 years. Wow. There's no stability, there's no plan, there's nothing that you can actually... It's always firefighting. They will run a player until they retire, until they can't run anymore. And then they'll act surprised that they've got to go and sign a replacement. Then they sign the wrong player, somebody who's for a position we don't need.
Gary, one day we're going to get you on and you're going to be happy and smiling, OK? I really hope for your sake that day is soon, because You've been a bit sick of it the last couple of months. But Gary, great to speak to you. Thank you.
Good luck, Dave.
Thank you.
Oh, Gary, sorry. Don't hold your breath.